Pass goes the other way. Tony Jones splits out to the bottom of your screen. And Hill will throw and complete to midfield. Michael Carr, blitz coming. Dumps it off. Kamara. Inside. On the roll. Taysom Hill slips on the turf. He tried to from 37 yards away. And he nails it to give the Saints the lead. Baker Mayfield to throw. And right there, Mayfield out of the pocket. He's going to keep and cross what looks to be the first down on our only a three-man rush. Dumps it off. That's White. Dumps it off to Kamara on third down. And what a move by Alvin Kamara. Penalties, and now it's 2nd and 7. A quick toss. He's got room over there. Rashid Shaheed.
And that's certainly the philosophy they both have employed today.
Tony Jones the back. Carr to throw. Well protected for Shaheed, who kind of checked up. Zion McCollum, who started at corner for Jamel Dean. And there they are at the bottom of your screen.
They are matched up right here once again.
On a 2nd and 7, the other way. Catch made. And good work to get up across the 25-yard line by Chris Godwin.
Explosiveness to catch a long one at some point.
Vaughn up across the 40. Mayfield. Evans. He's got it. Tackled right away by Lattimore.
A week ago from Evans, but here working against Lattimore, and these guys have.
Mayfield hesitates. He's going to try and run for the first down, and he's going to get it. Tompkins has it, and it's tackled right away inside.
Watch Cade Otton isolated here, that big wide receiving target from the tight end position.
Underneath to White. Rashad White will get the first down. It'll be 1st and goal for Tampa Bay. Mayfield in trouble. Throws. It's a touchdown for the Bucs. Cade Otton. And a flag down as Baker went down at the 9-yard line. Cam Jordan got to him. What a play by Mayfield. His mobility. They blitz 3rd most in the league. Bucs are threatening to. Carr right on target from their own 44. The blitz is on. Carr has a moment here. And they're going to get to him. Sacked. Rashad White, and he'll Mayfield pressure from behind. He gets rid of it and open at the 45 of the Saints. Devin Tompkins inside the 30. Mayfield's throw on target to Chris Godwin, who gets out of bounds. Evans looks on with the hamstring problem. Mayfield to throw again, floating one for the end zone. That's intercepted. Isaac Yiadom with the pick.
They move momentum.
Okay, thank you for clarifying. We vote with you as the fullback carries to dig it out. The ball's loose on the back. Prentice lost the football, and on the field, it's a takeaway, and they're ruling it in favor of Tampa Bay. It looked like Antoine Winfield came out of there with it. Mayfield floating it for Palmer, the rookie. Trey Palmer hauls it in for a Buccaneer touchdown.
Loses a little bit of concentration. Look at that hand up in the air right there. He's trying to talk where he should have his eyes here on Trey Palmer. And just in that instant, Baker able to get that thing out of there.
Mayfield in trouble here. And they're going to get him. He couldn't get out of the pack. From midfield on 3rd and 16. Just the 4-man rush. Carr airing it out deep. Olave is back there. Knocked away in the end zone. What a play from Winfield. Antoine Winfield is everywhere today. And I know we're all disappointed with that. Baker Mayfield said he's going to have the popcorn ready for that showdown with Lattimore. The handoff. Vaughn is pushing it, pushing. He got pushed. Quick pass and open. Michael Thomas has a first down to the 45.
They're just intimidated by the speed of those receivers.
Especially Shaheed and Olave as Kamara shakes off an ankle tackle, and he's going to fight to get a first down to the 30. The pass, Kamara. They'll get a first down to Taysom Hill at quarterback. He's going to keep and get brought down by Vita Vea. Carr completes short of the first down. Kamara.
I would think you would have some routes closer to the sticks as opposed to taking end zone shots right there so that you have multiple options to get the first down.
And the rookie from Notre Dame drills this through.
Sometimes you use that same action as they're doing right here. Go with a pass.
That's Tompkins in motion. Baker Mayfield down the middle. Godwin has it across midfield. Chris Godwin down. Time for Mayfield. He's going to try to get yardage to get him in field goal range. The kick, it's up there, it's out there, and it's through there from 51. But they've done a good job not giving up the big play so far. Carr gets away, pointing, wants to go deep, wants to get the first down, and Michael Thomas made a big tackle there after a 4-yard pickup. Carr will dump it to Kamara. If the Saints get some of this, they might go on 4th down. Carr thrown, trying for a one-handed grab in his 12th season. Blake Grupe up there, and from 44 away from the 37 of Tampa Bay. A delay blitz. What a catch. Godwin coming. Godwin has it. Flag down. Chris Godwin inside the 10-yard line. Opportunity to close this out on a 3rd and goal. Baker hesitates, wanted his tight end. And throws, diving, but did he get in the end zone? Devin Tompkins, touchdown! Wow. They're going to go for 2 to make this a 25-9 game. Under 4 minutes to play. Baker, it's tipped and deflected. They won't get it.
There doesn't go the way that you want at home, but you can't let a team beat you 2 weeks in a row. You got to.
Ball's out on the near sack of Carr. Let's see how they rule it on the field. On a 3rd down 1. It looks like he's going to be short to make it a 26-9 game. And he's got it. Bucks, they just didn't allow any quarterback for the Saints to get comfortable. Winston trying to air it out deep, and it's intercepted. D. Delaney in the area. Looks like Winston was trying to get it to Olave, and it was an underthrow. Let's check the flag. Back inside the 20.
Just all the potential in the world. No panic in him. You can see him staying in that fight, get that opportunity to come back and win that one.
In this rivalry, the Bucks, for the first time, head-to-head, get their 3rd straight win against New Orleans. That has not been done before. Todd Bowles is able to do it. What a